bit over. I know some of you have to leave within an hour, so I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm John Cook. I'm a sustainability consultant in Chicago, working primarily with United Airlines right now. I have a PhD from Northwestern Communications and an MBA in sustainability from Presidio School of Management. Dee and I are alumni, same place. And I have a diverse background in education and sustainability and international marketing. I lived in Istanbul, Tunisia, Germany, Bulgaria. So I've been asked to talk about the future of sustainability in higher education. So what is sustainability, first of all? Now most of you are probably familiar with a definition that's been around since 1987, often called a Brundtland definition, which is that meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs is one example. Another is what is education and sustainability, and that's one that enables people to develop the knowledge, values, and skills to participate in decisions that will improve the quality of life now without damaging the planet for the future. I have my own definition of sustainability, which is sustainability is an urgent eco-socio-economic practice that restores the financial and natural capital of the planet as it meets the needs of various populations around the globe. So the why I'm expanding my definition of sustainability is it goes beyond just sustaining as we are, but it takes into recognition that we actually have to restore our planet. We have to restore our social systems. We have to restore our financial systems and markets from where they are today to get to a place where we can sustain our life and our prosperity on this planet. And it also recognizes that one type of sustainability is not going to work for everyone, that we have to be cognizant of different cultures, different needs, and different situations. So sustainable has to be global, but also has to be local. And it has to be fluid and interchangeable. So where do we go in the university? We've got 4,100 different universities in the United States approximately now. Generates 300 billion revenues, employing over 3 million people. So the university has a great impact on society. It has an impact on financial aspects of society, our economics, but also on energy consumption and waste generation. So it is a great place to start with sustainability and see where the future might lead us. So now, I can tell you from what I've seen already and what I've read, you've got a great program going at University of Florida, and Dee has done an amazing job and is working with all of you to create that. But where do we go? Where do we go? What do we do after the low-hanging fruit has been picked? Well, we plant an orchard. Unfortunately, this was animated. We can transfer that well to the PC. We plant an orchard for growing sustainable fruit. So we have. The company I'm working with, we've got the whole low-hanging fruit. Where do we get those next decisions? Where do we go from there? Okay. Well, normally we think of the 3 R's, right? Reduce, reuse, recycle. Well, as you might tell from my definition, there's a 4th R, restore. So our practices should be restorative. We should restore our natural capital. We should restore our society, our workers. One of my projects that I did in MBA was to create something that takes waste and makes energy out of it, but also restores local jobs, restores industries that are defunct or will be defunct as sustainability takes hold. So I think the process needs to be restorative as well, and it will restore communities. So beyond greening the campus, what I'd like to cover is getting to the paperless university. We've been talking about being the paperless office or the paperless society for many years now. But what will it really take for us to get there? Also, wow. How do we get to zero waste, zero emissions, and a carbon-free campus? And I'll explain a little bit more about what I mean in that. Developing sustainable citizenship. Right? So one of our goals at a university is to develop our citizens for the future. We want to develop sustainable citizens, and what will that imply? And what will that take to get there? And the university as the microcosm for sustainability and our global outreach through sustainability. So, getting to the paperless university, first of all, it takes behavioral change. So, for sustainability to actually work, we have to have a behavioral change. The way we see waste, the way we see production, the way we see consumption, the way we see education has to be transformed. Right? And I think this is a very positive approach. We also have to add education. To educate people, one of the biggest problems I've seen with sustainability is it doesn't follow through with education. It has wonderful programs. It has wonderful intentions. It puts some energy and capital behind it, but it doesn't see it through with education. And again, that's part of the role of a university, of higher education, is to see that education through so it becomes a practice. It becomes a habit, it becomes a culture. We also need a technology, and that technology has to be developed, but it also has to be managed. It has to be thought out that it doesn't create another waste. It doesn't create an excessive energy drain. So we have to think about designing for the environment, designing for the future when we're looking at this. To take everything into consideration. And you'll get a sense of this as I explain more my own philosophy about systems thinking and how that applies to this. And then we also have to take into consideration special needs. Would being a paperless university be more inclusive for those with special needs? Will it level those fields in education for those that can't read for whatever reason, can't use paper for whatever reason? So are there other potentials in sustainability for broadening the community, for bringing in more people because of what we're doing? So not just that we're reducing waste, that we're helping the environment, but are we expanding through sustainability our social interaction and those possibilities for more people to participate in higher education? Okay. Zero waste, zero emissions, and carbon-free campus. So from now on, we have to think waste as a resource. Whatever comes in has to be going out as an input for something else. So all our inputs become inputs as a waste material to something else. Okay? So we want to have that continuous flow of energy, of resources. And that means rethinking the way we use waste, the way we produce waste, but also the way we produce energy that becomes waste, or products that become waste. Cradle to cradle. This is a concept from McDonald, which talks about we don't want to think about recycling as downcycling. We want to create a product that can be continuously recycled, that doesn't degrade, that continues onwards. So we have to think about everything that we're purchasing, everything we're pulling together, that it has a continuous flow through. Okay? So we can have that sustainability, that constant flow of interaction about all products. And we need collaboration. We need collaboration from the faculty, from the staff, from the administration, from the community, from all stakeholders. But also we need a collaborative effort to integrate sustainability into every artifice and facet of our lives here. And that will bring us on to that idea of developing sustainable citizenship. Right? We're producing leaders, educators, consumers, advocates, and investors. So we want sustainability to be a guiding force for them in the way they lead their businesses, in the way they lead their communities, in the way they educate their family, friends, and their coworkers, in the way that they become consumers. Right? In a market-driven society, if you create sustainable consumers, then the market will respond. We want them to be advocates in policy and politics for sustainability. And we want to know that their investment in time and volunteering, but also their financial investments, are based on sustainable principles. And this is something I think can be achieved at the university. So, a university is a microcosm. What is the model for society? Well, we've got it here: living, learning, and governing. We have energy, we have building, we have water use, we have waste, we have food, we have transportation. All of this taking place in our microcosm on the campus. This is where sustainability can be a laboratory, a testing ground for new developments that we can expand throughout communities, locally, nationally, and globally. We also have learning. How does sustainability function within the learning community? How does it enable different types of learning and better learning? And what I'll talk about, transforming learning as usual. And then governing. We have a governing body in the university. But how do we see sustainability affecting policy, governance, and the way it plays into ethics